Okay, it's time to talk about the French knot. Now, I have heard mixed reviews on the French knot. I know I personally love French knots. I think it's a super versatile stitch. It's a great way of adding dots and texture to my work, but I've heard so many others saying that this knot is a challenge. Well, we're here to break this down. Let's make it simple so that the French knot is an easy add for your next project. If you're ready to get started, let's break it down.
So, what is a French knot? Basically, a French knot is a decorative knot created by looping thread around the needle and pulling it through to the backside of your fabric. So, to make a French knot, pull your needle up through the fabric at your desired knot location. You're going to hold your needle with your stitching hand and use your non-stitching hand to grasp the floss about 3 inches away from your fabric. Use your non-stitching hand to wrap the 3-inch section of floss 2 to 3 times around your needle. The more loops you make around the needle, the bigger your knot is going to be. Use the index finger of your stitching hand to hold the wrapped floss in place across your needle and gently lower the needle tip so it's touching the desired knot location. Put that needle down just really close to where you brought your floss up to begin with. Once the tip of the needle is braced, while keeping your needle upright with your stitching hand, use your non-stitching hand to lower that 3-inch section of floss to the base of the fabric. The loops should drop along the needle shaft and rest directly on the fabric. At this point, you can readjust your non-stitching hand. So your thumb holds down the 3-inch section of floss against the fabric while the rest of your non-stitching hand comfortably grasps and stabilizes the hoop. Once you have a good position for your hands, begin pulling your needle through the fabric. Once the majority of the thread strand has been pulled through the fabric, release that 3-inch section to form the French knot. Okay, so some tips as you go. If the eye of your needle is struggling to move through the loops and your fabric, release just a little bit of pressure from that 3-inch section that you're holding with your thumb. This should help you get the needle to move through your fabric. Don't release too much because it may cause your stitch to become a little bit irregular. Just loosen up your thumb just a little bit, enough to get that needle to be able to move through the fabric. Keep in mind that the more floss strands you use, whether you're using 2 strands, 3 strands, 4 strands, the more strands you use, the larger the knot you're going to have. The fewer floss strands you use, the smaller the knot you're going to have. Additionally, the more loops around the needle you have, the larger the French knot will be. The fewer loops around the needle, the smaller the knot will be. Okay, now let's take a quick look at how to tie off a French knot. Now let's check out this stitch in a panel so you can really see it in action. Once you get into a good rhythm, making French knots will become easier, and they're a great addition to your stitching projects.
Give yourself a round of applause. You did it. You tackled the French knot. Way to go. Hopefully, you're feeling good and you're feeling a little bit more confident. But what I'm going to recommend is practice. French knots, practice, practice, practice is key. The more repetition you do with this stitch, the easier it will get. If you're ready to try out more embroidery stitches, be sure to check out our embroidery stitch playlist for even more tutorials. I'll see you there.